Good morning, I'm Brian Ochieng. I'm attached to the committee.
Lydia Kagumba, Protocol.
Good morning, Chair. John Chege, Sergeant at Arms.
That's all from us, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. OAG.
Good morning, Chair and members. I'm Muriuki Patrick, the liaison officer from the Office of the Auditor General. Chair, we have a team from Kitale Regional Office. This team audits Trans Nzoia, West Pokot, and Turkana. But today they're here for Trans Nzoia. With their permission, Chair, they can come on record.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Dr. Charles Mutari, the Director of Audit in charge of the Kitale region and essentially Trans Nzoia County. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Banan Maina, Deputy Director, Kitale Region Office. Thank you.
That's all, Chairman.
Karibu OAG, National Treasury.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, Honorable Senators, Your Excellency the Governor of Trans Nzoia. My name is Reverend CPA Kimathi Kwiriga from the National Treasury Liaison Office.
Karibu, from Controller Budget.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Gilbert Gachanja from the Office of Control of Budget, a liaison officer attached to this committee. Thank you.
You're welcome. And finally, EACC.
Thank you, Chair and Honorable Members. Patricia Chebet from the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, liaison officer attached to this committee.
Karibu. Clerk, did we invite the County Assembly of Trans Nzoia?
Yes, Chair, we did. However, I couldn't reach the chairperson of the committee earlier on this morning.
Okay. Is there any member from the County Assembly of Trans Nzoia? If there is none, we'll go straight to the executive. Governor Trans Nzoia, please go on record.
Mr. Chairman, honorable members, my name is George Natembeya, the Governor of Trans Nzoia.
We could allow your delegation also to go on record, just
yes.
Name and designation.
Honorable Chair and members, I'm Wanjala Pepela. I'm the CEC Finance and Economic Planning.
Honorable Chair, members, I'm Masungo Emmanuel, Chief Officer Finance.
Honorable Chair and members, I'm Bernard Madegwa, Head of Treasury.
Honorable Chair, my name is David Musumbi, Public Communications Officer.
My name is Yalo Felix, Director Communication.
Honorable Chair, members, my name is Collins Wana, Chief Protocol Officer, Trans Nzoia County.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Dr. Simiyu Judith, the County Chief Officer for Health Services and Sanitation. Thank you.
Honorable Chair, my name is Ibrahim Chisaka, Acting Director of Revenue.
Honorable Chair, my name is Patrick Osoro, Chief Officer, Agriculture and Irrigation. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. My name is Philip Captain, County Chief Officer, the Department Public Service Management.
My name is Walioli Waboba, the County Attorney.
Honorable Chair and members, my name is Trufosa Mary, County Secretary.
Tima Omar, Chief Administrative Officer in the Office of the Governor.
Honorable Chair and members, my name is Hatun Difanis Naliaka, CEC in charge of agriculture. Thank you.
Chanel Kitoni, CEC in charge of Public Works, Roads, Energy, Infrastructure and Transport.
Honorable Chair and honorable members, my name is Patrick Gasheru, CEC Trade and Industrialization. Thank you.
Honorable Chair, I am Etienne Kennedy, Chief Officer Education and Vocational Training.
Honorable Chair and members, my name is Jendros Nasimeo Mutama, the CEC Education and Vocational Training.
Honorable Chair and members, my name is CPA Andrew Wepuhulu, the Head of Internal Audit.
Honorable Chair and members, my name is Peter Omonye Ijaka, the Acting Director, Early Childhood Education.
Everyone from the delegation has gone on record? Fine. I would believe that those who have not gone on record are members of the Fourth Estate who are welcome to cover today's proceedings. We proceed then to the next order, which is administration of oath.
I, George Natembeya, do solemnly swear that the evidence that I shall give before this committee in respect of the matters before the committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
You will proceed to table your written responses.
Mr. Chairman, I hereby table the following documents before the committee. Management responses and accompanying annexures for the report of the County Public Accounts Committee on the report of the Auditor General on audited financial statements for the County Executive of Trans Nzoia County for the financial year 2023-2024, and management responses and accompanying annexures on the report of the Auditor General on the receiver of revenue for the County Executive of Trans Nzoia County for the financial year 2023-2024.
Auditor General, have you reviewed, interacted with those reports, and are you ready to guide us today?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I do confirm that we received the responses from for both the County Executive and the ROR earlier in August, I think 24th of August, when we were scheduled to meet, and they resent the same a week or so ago. So yes, we have reviewed them. We have interacted with the reports, and we have also given the briefs to this committee. Thank you, Chair.
Clerk of the Senate.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I can confirm we received the responses in time as prescribed by the letter asking the County Executive to appear earlier on in August. Thank you.
Okay. I'm informed that you submitted fewer copies of the annexures than was required. Initially, what was the requirement?
15 copies each.
And how many copies have we received?
8.
8 copies. Now, you notice that we are 9 members, plus the friend of the committee. Those are 10 members, plus the other stakeholders. And that is why the count comes to 15. Now, I don't want to waste a lot of time on this point, because the House is sitting at 2:30. So we don't have luxury of time. What I'm going to direct is, notwithstanding that non-compliance, we will attempt to proceed on the basis of the annexures that we have. If we get to a point where we cannot make progress because due to shortage of documentation, we shall take a view at that point, so that we don't spend too much time on this point. Honorable members, do we agree? It is not our usual stance. If we said 15 copies, it should be 15 copies. But because we want to deal with the substantive issues, I want to request that we attempt to proceed. If we hit a snag due to shortage of documentation, then we take a view at that point. Agreed?
Chair, I think that
Chair, maybe, sorry.
Yes, Senator Ogbo.
Chair, under the circumstances, I think we can attempt to proceed. If it becomes impossible for us to move, then we just have to stop. Because I don't understand, Chair, where there is only one annex that is supposed to go around all the senators for a query. So if we get to a point where we cannot proceed, then we just can't proceed.
Senator Cheraki?
Chair, maybe two things. One, maybe our communication, the governor should clarify on what was communicated to him. Maybe they didn't specify on a number of copies, or was it indicated in the letter So Governor should clarify. Chair, I agree that what is important is for us to proceed. But should we finding it challenging? Because Chair, I remember last week with one of the clients or entity that appeared, we were sharing financial statements, all of us. Even the county government then last week had not come with their own financial statements. So Chair, I think the Governor should clarify whether our communication indicated the number of copies that was supposed to supply to your committee. And number two, I hope that they are able to have all the documentation just in case we have to proceed, because we must proceed, Chair, because to use the efficiency. Because at the end of the day, the people of Trans Nzoia must get value for the money that we normally send to Mashinani. And then finally, Chair, just on preliminary observation, Governor, I thought Trans Nzoia, through the Chair, is Kenya Ndogo. I have not heard some names from that region, yet it should be representative, Chair.
Let me guide that on preliminary, because this is a matter we have dealt with for a long time. What constitutes a preliminary observation?
Yes.
Now, on the preliminary matter of documentation, the last time the governor appeared before us on 17th of June 2025, we sent him back home because of matters of documentation, delays, and the fact that the Auditor General was not ready. Governor, it cannot be that after that experience, we would still come here and spend even 1 minute on issues of documentation. You must take administrative action, unless you are the one taking responsibility for that. I think it's not a matter that we should even waste time debating, because last time you came to Nairobi, went back to Trans Nzoia without doing business, simply because of documentation. So I'll just ask you to comment on that, and then if your comment is satisfactory, we can proceed.
Mr. Chairman, the communication came in good time. Of course, it required us to provide 15 copies to this committee. But the information I'm getting from my people here is that there is lack of finances to do some of these things. You know, we are just starting the financial year and the budget has already started running. And out there, you cannot do things on credit nowadays. So majorly that's the reason why we're not able to get all the copies required.
Governor, your response is going to cause us problems and an unnecessary debate.
I'm just being truthful.
Yes, you can be truthful, but what we expect from you is if the Senate on 27th of June, on 17th of June, took a view when it came to procedural issues, we shouldn't come back to Nairobi and spend time on procedural issues, particularly documentation. Initially, your team produced 5 copies. Then they miraculously produced another 3 copies. I mean, it's a joke. Stop shielding your staff from obvious inefficiencies. Because I thought I was going to make this matter very easy so that we proceed. But when you start giving some of those stories, I think we need to take these proceedings more seriously.
There could be a very serious challenge there in Trans Nzoia that we are not able to run copies.
This is like 2 reams of paper. We are just saying really 7 more of this. If you did 8, doing 7 more of this.
So because Governor, for us as a Senate, we are under the impression that counties have been properly resourced and financed. We have passed the Division of Revenue. We have passed CARA. What is what? Just explain the challenge kidogo, because I'm honestly also quite surprised that Trans Nzoia is basically running on fumes. There's no money to run copies.
Mr. Chairman, there is no money. We all received 1 disbursement for July.
July?
Yes. There is no money. I know we run these copies in Nairobi, not in Trans Nzoia. Who is going to do this on credit? So when I say there is no money, I'm just being truthful. I'm not giving excuses. It's just the truth. You want to run 15, you have got money for 8.
Governor,
what do you do?
It is 1 minute to midday. We are not going to waste time on this matter. I've given the directive that we shall proceed, and if we get to a point where the inadequacy of copies handicaps us, we'll terminate these proceedings. But the direction we are taking is a direction where we'll start arguing over whether money is in the county, whether the governor is not doing what the Senate requires, and it will automatically result in a termination. We are interested in dealing with the substantive issues raised by the Auditor General in Trans Nzoia. So, honorable members, let's keep that. The conversation around exchequer releases is part of the substantive issues. We shall discuss them when we get to them. So with that, could we go straight to the report of the Auditor General, starting with the report of the receiver of revenue? We have been given a brief by the Auditor General, so we'll go straight to the issues that still remain unresolved. Governor, is your receiver of revenue in the room?
Yes, Chairman.
Okay, just for identification purposes, who is the receiver of revenue? Okay, so you are the one who prepared the ROR statement. Fine, so Auditor General, let's go to the report on receiver of revenue. And let's start with your observation under budgetary control and performance. Read it out, and then we will look at the governor's response. I'm looking at the original certificate. So on the original certificate, it is on page 4 under emphasis of matter. Now we need to get guidance from the governor on where he has provided the response on that. Have you, Governor, are we with you on the same page on the issue? In the receiver of revenue report, there under the basis for qualified opinion, there are 7 issues, and then after the 7th issue, there is emphasis of matter that talks about budgetary control and performance. I think, OAG, once you read it out, I'm sure the governor will be able to relate to it.
Thank you, Chair. My colleague will read through it.
Thank you, Chair. Budgetary control and performance. The statement of comparison of budget versus actual amounts reflects county-owned source revenue amount of Kenya shillings 470,522,927 against the budgeted amount of Kenya shillings 643,700,000, resulting in under correction of Kenya shillings 173,177,073, or 27% of the budgeted amount. Further, the revenue corrections reduced by Kenya shillings 22,783,932 from Kenya shillings 493,306,000 Kenya shillings corrected in the year ended 30th June 2023.
Your last paragraph, your second last.
The continued under correction of local revenue affects negatively the execution of planned programs and activities, and therefore results in poor or non-delivery of services to the public. My opinion is not modified in respect of this matter. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, so Governor, whereas we had given recommendations on the report on the executive, for the receiver of revenue, we just agreed with the Auditor General. So there were no specific recommendations, but let's see how you responded to this matter. You can refer us to the page where you're reading from.
Mr. Chairman, our response is on page 92 of the receiver of revenue document.
Okay, members, and that's why we needed to ensure we have adequate copies. You may proceed.
Management response. The management acknowledges and confirms that indeed there was 27% shortfall in revenue collection. It was a result of change of revenue collection system during the year. The management has, however, put in place measures to enhance revenue collection, including recruitment of more revenue collectors, carrying out a rapid results initiative, and mapping all revenue streams and developing a revenue register.
Now, honorable members and clerks, make sure members have access to the ROR statement. Parliamentary Budget Office. What is the on-source revenue potential for Trans Nzoia County? Salat was not here. Now, OAG, you had some information on this. What is the OSR potential for Trans Nzoia?
The potential recorded by CRA, it's 4.7 billion, which includes an amount of 1.2 billion for the hospitals. So in effect, it's 3.5 billion. However, the information I have is that this figure has been appealed and has been settled at 2 billion following consultations with the county executive. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, so members, you can have that figure in mind. Maybe we could adopt the 2 billion as being more realistic. But just a look at the statement of receipts and disbursements under the ROR statement. Governor, your revenues dropped by 20 million. And the explanation is that there was a change in system. While the system was being changed, revenue was not being collected.
There was a bit of challenges because the change of from one system to another was not smooth. The previous guy actually left with all the data, so we are forced to start from scratch, even in terms of mapping revenue streams. Of course, when you have that kind of situation, there could also be revenue leakages along the way before you stabilize. That's the major reason why we went low, but we have since peaked.
So if you look at, and I hope your receiver of revenue has given you a copy of the statement of receipts and disbursements for the year ended 30th June 2024. I think let's just have a look at that schedule and ask ourselves whether there is a bigger problem that we need to deal with. I don't know whether you have it. In the ROR statement, I don't think it's reproduced in the governor's report. So clerks, if you don't have a hard copy, please circulate it even in soft copy so that members can follow. So Governor, let's look at the first row on cess. The previous year you collected 44 million. And then the following year you collected 11 million. A difference of 33 million.
Yes.
How do you explain that using a system? If you go to single business permit, you collected 70 million, and then the year under review, 64 million. A difference of 6 million, which then indicates that businesses shut down in Trans Nzoia. How is that explained by change of system? You go down, even parking fees from 63 million to 49 million. Market fees from 17 million to 13 million. Advertising from 17 million to 5 million. Conservancy administration from 5 million to 1 million. Physical planning and development from 4 million to 3 million. You know, it's a long, long list of variation. At the end of it all, the aggregate variation is 20 million. How is this explained? Simply that you changed a system. People were collecting money and pocketing. This is symptomatic of theft. Unless, members, you are seeing the link between this and a change of system.
Chair, maybe through you, maybe what we may need to understand is what system are you changing from? What system was at play, and then what did we change to? So that we appreciate this loss, this leakage? What system was in place before the change?
Governor, it will also help us understand if you were to paint a picture of the time that it took for those system changes to be effected.
Governor?
Okay, thank you, Honorable Chair. I will be able to explain what transpired. The Governor has clearly mentioned that we had a changeover of system, and when you look at it, we are having changes, particularly in the single business permit. Honorable Chair, the change happened actually at the peak of most of the revenues, so we were not able to realize that because there is a requirement that you cannot collect revenue off the system. And we are only trying to comply that because if you collect off the system, money gets into the bank, and we are not able to verify actually how much has been paid through a system because reporting of revenue must be clearly indicated. Then another reason as to why we had that challenge is that the revenue register or data had been held by the previous system operators, which was called ZZ. The new system we are talking about is EREF. So during that period, we were not able to get proper data to have it then mapped through the system to enable us to correct. CRA is very clear in matters of collection of revenue that we cannot do it off the system. And that's actually what we are trying to do so that we can cap this issue of what the chair is raising, that pocketing the money. If you give staff that leeway to interact with money, then you lose the money. So we want all the revenue, it's a requirement that all the revenue system actually has to be cashless. So that is why we experience that. But when you look at the current performance, Honorable Chair, we have mitigated that.
Current performance, we are looking at 2023, 2024.
I was only trying to...
And the reason why we must have this conversation is we must find out who the culprit is.
Okay.
Is it the system vendors?
Yeah.
Is it the collectors of revenue? Because there is a problem.
Sure.
There is a problem. And that problem, we must deal with it.
Okay.
So, go back to single business permit, that line that you had picked. How do you explain that? And please, whereas the guidelines by CRA on automation remains a prudential guideline, we still have counties that are collecting manually. So, you cannot say that you are either collecting automatically or not collecting at all. So you need to revise that. Okay. So explain to us, for example, that single business permit, which indicates that there was a 10% drop. It means that 10% of your business is shut down in an economy that should be growing at 5%. Yeah. How do you explain that? Just take that, that row.
For single business permit, Honorable Chair, a common practice for most of our taxpayers or our clients is that during that period when we issue invoices, and they tend to pay more during that time because we also do a lot of compliance during that period, because once the invoices are issued and confirmed, now what follows is collection. Most of them normally reserve funds to pay at that period.
Remember, if it's a common practice, it was there in the prior year. That's why you are comparing 2 years where the practice has been common. So can you give us a better explanation, please?
A better explanation, Honorable Chair, is that the system was actually changed over in the period of January to March. And that is our peak period. That's what I'm explaining, Honorable Chair.
So the money that was collected between January to March, where did it go?
We have, in the receipt of revenue report, that time we actually, because we were losing a lot and we encouraged them to do offline, then later on we were able to now map them in the system.
Where did the money go?
In the bank.
Just show us here in the ROR statement where that money is.
I'm not accounting for the shortage of 10 million. I'm not saying when we collected 10 million and we banked it somewhere or somebody took the money. We were not able to realize revenue collection during that period because there was a system change. We were affected. Not that we collected and we banked that money elsewhere, Honorable Chair.
Senator Ombua, then Senator Chirati.
Chief Officer, you may land yourself in some trouble. You've just said, your own words, that the time of changeover is when a lot of people are paying their rates. And because of the changeover, the implication is that people did not pay. Is that what you're saying?
True.
You're saying people did not pay. True. So why did you effect the changeover at a time that you're supposed to be collecting revenue?
Through Honorable Chair.
It was your decision
through Honorable Chair, we only picked single business permit, and I'm saying single business permit, its peak is at January and March, but other revenues were still going on.
There are 11 rows where there was a drop in revenue,
yes,
which cumulatively comes to 20 million.
Yes.
So I don't know whether you have 11 different stories for the 11 different rows. Senator Chiraki.
Let me pick it from where you have left. Governor, how long has been Ibrahim Chisaka been acting as the governor? How long has been Ibrahim Chisaka has been acting director of receiver of revenue? Number one. Number two, Chair, let me pick it from where where the chief officer left, because it looks like the previous system was more effective than they want to change of. Because if you look even at parking fees, I don't know whether people park only in January, Bwana CEO, because the street parking fees in the 2023-2024 was 14,532,865, sorry. Financially at the previous one, 22,700,000. $729,785. So, Chair, if you look at the entire parking fees, there was a drop of close to 14 million. He has argued that his single business permit was a drop because people take business permits in January. But on parking fees, the fall is from in the previous financial year. I was looking at the revenue rose cumulatively to 20 million. It looks like the intention was to collect less, or was being collected and somebody was pocketing the money. And how much were you paying? Either through maintenance of revenue, do you own it, or is there a vendor left with all the data? Was there no agreement between the county government and the vendor that left? Because I thought those are, and it is good you have one of the advocates here who was my classmate, Chair. He said that the data left with the previous vendor. I thought there was an agreement. So how did he leave without proper handing over of the data to the county government? Can he highlight something on that?
Yeah, because if that is established, then we also have the power under the Public Audit Act to recommend debarment, contravene the PFM. And so we want to know where the problem lies, whether it's systems, whether it's your collectors, or whether it's a systemic looting from the public. So
that's Chair.
Okay, Vice Chair, then the Governor may respond.
They can respond to both with what Senator is asking. I want to ask how you manage your revenue. Do you have a committee, or it's just one person who receives all the revenue? Because then if you have a committee, then weekly or monthly, you can sit to review the performance. Because I'm looking at SES. So, that would be my question.
Okay, Governor, you may respond. Or Senator, please go on record. Senator
Thank you, Chair. My name is Senator Mwenda Gataya, member of this committee.
Okay, proceed, Governor.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to address two issues. That one, no system can cure the mindset. So if people want to really steal, the system may reduce, maybe by creating efficiency. And these are things we've been talking about even in Transoya, that the system on its own really cannot increase revenue. So the problem of leakages is there, it's a big problem that we are trying to address. Unfortunately, of course, we are discussing this matter at the point when we are changing the system, and therefore the problem had been compounded. Number two, it looks so bad because we are looking at it line by line, then you are comparing 2023 and 2022 and 2023, and we are seeing the very big differences. But you see, there is a line there called miscellaneous receipts, which is 51 million Kenya shillings. Some of the differences you are seeing in these revenue streams, actually because of that confusion, the change of the system, were not captured under those revenue streams, but they were captured as miscellaneous. So we have to look at the revenue stream, we have lost about 10 million, but part of that money is under miscellaneous. Actually, if you remove miscellaneous, it becomes a very, very sorry state. But this money was somehow collected. There was an element of misclassification of the revenue source. As I said at the beginning, we did not have a cordial parting of ways with Zizi. And I can see here we don't want to discuss what has happened subsequently, because yes, indeed, the change affected revenue collection. But when we come here subsequently, we are going to demonstrate that indeed revenue collection has increased as a result of change of the system. Of course, we tried to get the data, but the guy just went to court. He took us to the law courts. He lost the case, and he went to the High Court. So as we speak now, the matter is pending determination by the High Court.
Now, Governor, we are here not just to fault find, but we are here also to find solutions. And when we have this conversation, maybe you looked at the global picture, but we look at the details. This Senate, we are very well equipped alongside our partners, the OAG, the ESC, etc. We look at the details. So we probably will not exit this without exhausting the details and finding a solution that will also help you. And I hope that as you're having this conversation, you can be open-minded, because there is a problem. In fact, when you tell us that 51 million has been lumped up as miscellaneous receipts, that should be a serious problem. There is no way as a shopkeeper you can have, you can receive money and not know whether you sold Omo or salt or sugar. I mean, that's even a corner kiosk is not run like that. So that alone should drive you to demand more from your receiver of revenue. Because you know that the PFM assigns that responsibility to a specific officer who's paid a salary. The question raised by Senator Mwaruma on SES, for example, I think that Transoya has a lot of agricultural activity. Perhaps it's the bedrock of the economy. Just come to that breakdown, note 12 on your financial statement on SES. Where SES dropped from 44 million to 11 million. Does it mean that during this transition, because I don't know at what point SES is collected, is it on the road? Is it at the farm gate? Is it at the market?
On the road.
So does it mean during this transition of system, Even the ropes that are put on the roads were pulled out.
Mr. Chairman, as we speak now, because of the measure that we put in place, SES is the best performing revenue source in Trans Nzoia as we speak now.
Estimated to be around how much?
Actually, we exceeded by how much last year? 8. Last year, we collected 8 million from SES.
So there's no reason why SES should ever go down in any financial year, isn't it?
There isn't any reason why it should.
So where you've got a 30 million drop in SES, it means probably 30 million plus was collected and stolen.
That possibility is there.
Now let's deal with that possibility so that we assign responsibility.
Chair, you have made a very crucial point on receiver of revenue. The governor has chose to ignore my question on how long the receiver of revenue has been acting, because that is a very important person in terms of the whole architecture and design. Governor, you have not answered the question on how long your receiver of revenue has been acting, because from the report that is on receiver of revenue is here, how long has he been acting, yet he is paid and designated. And then, Chair, in addition to SES, I also believe issues of parking should be easy, because you remember Turkana even were using POS in terms of parking fees within Kitale, within Lodwar town. So the question should be, even in street parking fees, the drop of 14 million is very high, because the street parking is marked and it is easy to know which street parking is. So the governor, as he answers how long the ROR has been acting on the issue of parking, and also says almost go in similar way, because these street parking are marked and it can be easily traced. Thank you, Chair.
Mr. Chairman, if you go on page 21 of our document, you will see how we have disaggregated that miscellaneous.
Page 21 of which document? Because you had responded to
the receiver of revenue document.
Your response was on page 92. So we go back to page 21.
21. Of the 15 million under miscellaneous, page 21.
51 million, not 15, right?
Of the 51 million, total 51 million, 51, SES accounts for 18 million. So this 18 million should have been captured under SES.
That leaves us with a gap of about 14 million compared to prior year, isn't it? It's still a drop.
Yeah.
And I want to emphasize this. You don't need to be defensive on this unless you are an accomplice. Allow us to have this conversation so that your staff, your receiver of revenue, can understand the consequence of professional negligence or the consequence of doing things against the Act. And I think that's why Senator Cherargei is turning the heat on the ROR, the receiver of revenue. They have a responsibility under the PFM. And I think that if we just do a slap on the wrist on this thing and say that things have improved in subsequent years, there appears to be 20 million that has been stolen from the people of Trans Nzoia. Let's have this conversation so that we know where EACC should go. Whether they should go after the system vendors, whether they should go after the ROR, or whether they should go after the CEO. I think, Governor, you have agreed there is a problem. You have agreed there's a possibility of loss of funds if you look at these movements. Perhaps in the subsequent year we'll see an improvement. But that does not excuse this financial year. Senator Ombwa.
Governor, on that page 21, I'm looking at miscellaneous receipt from slaughterhouse. 38,000. And I'm wondering, is it that the people of Trans Nzoia don't consume meat, or most of them are SDS? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, really, 38,000.
You know the chair is an Adventist.
I'm an Adventist.
Yes.
Chair. I think a lot of your relatives live in Trans Nzoia. I mean,
we eat meat.
You eat meat.
Yes.
So what?
Soya meat, not meat.
What is that? What's the explanation there, Governor?
Chair, but there is a question by Senator Cherargei that should not be lost. When did the ROR begin acting? What happened to the previous ROR? Is it because, or was he or she, did she pave way because of possible malfeasance in revenue collection? I think that's an important question.
Governor, the slaughter fee and the ROR question.
Mr. Chairman, I cannot give a concrete response why the slaughter fee was low. Maybe the number of animals that were brought to be slaughtered were fewer. That could be the reason. I don't have another reason for that, because
I think it's also very difficult when you have already admitted that there were some data integrity issues, because it's also very difficult now to explain how some of those things arose. Because I thought it would have been easier to say, yes, we have had challenges, we have data integrity issues, we have migration issues, and therefore, what then should we recommend? Because if you try to explain numbers,
Chair, that's what I began by saying,
which in your view are not verifiable, then
I've already said that the system can't replace the mindset.
Yeah.
That's what I said. But you know, when you ask for information, I'm providing it, and then somewhere it becomes defensive, and the information is here. I'm just trying to say that says a cycle not this much, but it's this much. There's a shortage indeed, and we admit there's a shortage.
Correct.
Can we do better? I believe we can do better.
The bottom line is that there's a 20 million drop, which is not consistent with economic growth trends. Now, the question on the ROR asked by both Senator Cherargei and Senator Maruma.
Now, as a county government, we've not been able to have a substantive receipt of revenue for some time. Actually, our last attempt to have one also failed. So we've been having acting receivers of revenue. I think we've had three now. Mr. Gisaka has been in office for the last 6 months or so. And all these changes are just in an attempt to get it right in terms of revenue collection.
No, Governor, the gentleman to your left is CC Finance.
Yes.
Should advise you that pursuant to PFM Act Section 165(2)A, there is nothing like an acting receiver of revenue. It requires the CEC Finance to designate in writing a receiver of revenue. While they have been designated, they are not acting, they are substantive. CEC, have you designated in writing a receiver of revenue? Because there's nothing, you can have director revenue that can be acting, but the receiver of revenue is appointed, and whether they are an intern or whether they are substantive as long as the appointment is in force. This is a responsibility of CC Finance pursuant to Section 165(2)A of the PFM Act.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I have designated him as the receiver of revenue, but the acting director of revenue.
But so there's nothing like acting receiver of revenue. They can be acting director of revenue, but as long as the designation lasts, they're substantive. And they take responsibility for any material non-disclosure or any shortfalls in the receiver of revenue statements. So now, members, we probably need to proceed because I think Governor has admitted that there's a problem, even though there is attributes it perhaps to a cost that we do not agree with. But if you look at even the performance, OSR potential of 2 billion, and you are effectively just collecting 261 million, because 209 is from hospitals, NHIF rebates and facility fees. We have sat here, 261 million is perhaps equivalent to what Turkana collects. We were with Turkana last week. I've asked Senator Chesang, because I appreciate that Trans Nzoia compared with the Homa Bay, I think Trans Nzoia, the gross county product could be higher. Even the per capita income could be higher. I think it's a much wealthier county. Homa Bay collects 1.2 billion. If you reduce the hospital fees of 800, it's still 400 million. Trans-Nzoia, with all its wealth and potential, is collecting 261 million. What is the problem, Governor, broadly speaking? And maybe as you respond, I can allow Senator Cherargei to chip in.
Maybe as you make a ruling on the under collection of 20 million, and we should not gloss over. I think the reason we ask a governor, the substantive office holders, is for accountability purposes, so that if the committee recommend further action, we know who to help. So the under collection of 20 million, Chair, must be looked into. Somebody must be held accountable. And finally, Chair, I ask a question which I think, Governor, you either deliberately choose to ignore or you didn't want to. I wanted to find out what is the agency fees or the maintenance fees of this system, because the information I have is that every financial year you are using close to 80 million to maintain that system, because if your potential is 2 billion, after you remove the FIF, it comes to 200 million, for example. If 2 billion, you remove the FIF, which now we have passed the law, the Facilities Improvement Act, which is removed, it comes back to 200 million, which is still a big challenge considering the mapping of revenue streams that you have done. So, Governor, can you provide us with the agency fee or the maintenance fee of this new system? And secondly, now that you have cast, Chair, that will be my third question. Now that you say you did, there was no amicable resolution with the former collector of revenue in Trans-Nzoia, what measures have you put in place? For example, do you own the domain of the collection? Do you own the system now? So that if that system takes off, Chair, does it mean also Trans-Nzoia will continue losing data on revenue mapping streams and even other data important issues? Because under Data Protection Act, it is very important that the client is aware. So what are the stopgap measures to ensure if the new revenue collector decides to take off, can he also take off like the other previous one with all the data, with the revenue streams, with the projection and what have you? That will be my three questions, Chair.
Okay. Perhaps the details on the system, because I think there are two substantive issues to the system that we are coming to. We could deal with them when we get there, but you can deal with the broader issues. Then we'll go, there's an issue about termination of systems. So it will be neater to deal with what the Auditor General found out and then look at your written response. But deal with the other issues that have been raised.
Basically the system, isn't it? Yeah. Mr. Chairman, the current system is owned by the county government of Trans-Nzoia. It was procured at 26 million shillings with an annual maintenance fee of 7.3 million for 3 years. So after 3 years, we shall own the system fully. So with this system, I don't know where we are getting the 80 million. Those figures are strange to me, because what we have is 26 million cost of the system, 7.3 million annual maintenance of the system.
There was a question as to the lack of ambition, where you are effectively collecting 261 million versus a target of 2 billion.
Mr. Chairman, we've not shared with the CRA the formula they used to come up with the 4 billion, 2 billion. I don't think if the total wealth of Trans-Nzoia now is 4 billion shillings. That's a lot of money.
4 billion? No, I think the auditor tells us that it has been revised downwards to 2 billion, which sounds reasonable. Have you done your own mapping?
I don't think so. I don't think.
My understanding was that the 2 billion was a negotiated position. Was it not? That the CRA had proposed 4 point something, then it was contested, and then stepped down to 2 billion.
Chairman, personally, I've not engaged in any negotiation with CRA over this figure.
But as a CEO of the entity, what is your on-source revenue? What's your estimated on-source revenue potential? Because that is something that your receiver of revenue should have at hand. it should guide your budgeting. It should guide your, driven by your finance bill.
Mr. Chairman, the receipt of revenue has not told us how they arrived at 4 billion shillings. Because I'm looking at my account, where am I going to get 2 billion shillings?
The receipt of revenue is your appointee. Leave alone the CRA. I'm now asking, in your own assessment, what is your OSR potential? We can forget about this, the CRA for a minute.
Yeah, my potential from what I've been telling my team is that we look at how much the county council of Trans-Nzoia was collecting before the advent of devolution, and how much the Kitale municipality was collecting, and in total it was about 800 million with the fewer revenue streams. So that was such as a baseline for us, that to know, can we meet what we were collecting before devolution? That's 800 million. We can put a markup, maybe 400 million. That will give us about 1.2 billion. It's reasonable, can be explained. But this other one of 4 billion really is just big.
So even if you are to use the 800 million, the fact is you're collecting just about a quarter of what the defunct authorities were collecting.
True.
Isn't that a cause for concern?
Major cause.
So I think we now need to understand some of the measures being taken.
Chair Makiu, this is 15 years down the line.
When the economy has grown.
When the municipalities were collecting 800 and you are collecting a quarter. So it means there is a bigger problem. And I thought the governor, you said you have mapped more revenue streams, which are much more than other municipalities. So where is the challenge? And I remember when we went through ICT committee, and Governor, at that point you told us that some officers had been fired because they have been pocketing revenue. Is it still the position?
Actually, the problem we had was initially all revenue collectors were voluntary staff. So we actually recruited revenue officers. And we can demonstrate that after that, we've had some significant improvement in revenue collection. But as I admitted, and my team here knows, that we have the problem with the mindset, where people still cut corners. That because I believe there's no revenue officer who can know that you have not paid revenue and let you go. They can't. So they really know we're supposed to pay and pay what. But it's some kind of unholy, alliances out there. It's an internal problem that we're really trying to sort out. Is bearing fruits, not as fast maybe as we want, but when you look at our revenue growth for the last 2 years, there's a bit of improvement. Of course, I'll be happy if I beat the target of Trans-Nzoia County Council, which had fewer revenue streams and they're collecting about 800 million. And of course, at that time, when they reached that record of 800 million, even councillors at that time participated in revenue collection. They went out and tried to participate. So it's a matter of sealing loopholes in the revenue collection department, where we have got officers. Actually, even people fight to be deployed to revenue, including enforcement officers. They'll rather go to revenue than go to the hospital. So that should tell you something. Like when all policemen want to become traffic policemen, the motivation is quite obvious. So these are the things. If this committee has a solution, I'll gladly bring it on board. How do we seal loopholes in terms of leakage of revenue? Because that's where the problem is, nowhere else.
Chair.
Senator Wambua?
Chair, let's have a candid conversation because the governor is being candid. Governor, you're telling this committee and you're telling the people of Trans-Nzoia that there is somebody sabotaging revenue collection in Trans-Nzoia County. Is that what you're saying? That there is sabotage of revenue collection in Trans-Nzoia County?
Governor?
I wouldn't call it sabotage. I'll just call it maybe theft. Yeah.
I think that seems to be it. And that's where we now need to we have done the diagnosis. It is our job to do the prescription as a Senate.
Chair, maybe,
Senator,
Chair, with your indulgence, even I'm looking at your financial statements on receipt of revenue. Your original target was 643,700,000. You didn't achieve that. So looking at the projection, you have said you want even to go beyond municipalities of 800 million. And I don't know, you said councillors were part of the collection, so I don't know whether your MCA should be, but that's a point of discussion. So in this 643 million, there must have been realistic target of that amount. There must have been revenue strategy that you wanted to collect. So can you say something on your original target of 643 million? And finally, Chair, Governor said they were voluntary tax collectors. Is it who was the greatest tax collector in the Bible, Bishop? so Chair, Bishop is always right.
You want me to tell you the name? You know the name.
So I don't know whether you are calling it revenue collectors. So can you tell this committee they were temporary? So how much did you confirm them to PNP so that they can be used? And number two, I ask a very specific questions. Are there any officers in revenue that have been fired? Are there, Governor, as there revenue officers that have been fired? Their own disciplinary action has been taken or administrative action? And how many are there? Because it looks like, Governor, you are aware there is a problem. Kuna watu wanakula. But you have taken a back seat and say, you know, I'll just go and tell the committee of the Senate there are people who are stealing our revenue. They'll give me the prescription. I thought you should be telling us, Governor, you should be telling, I found 10 revenue collectors, I have fired 10. I have reported to DCI or EACC for action to be taken. Because if you come and tell this committee through the chair with the indulgence that money is being stolen, but can the committee give us a solution? It should be presenting that these are demonstrative action, these are investigations ongoing, this is what we have done, we have confirmed into permanent and pensionable. Because the fact that everybody wants to be in revenue collection, it means there is a bigger problem than we thought. So can Governor highlight on that?
Okay, Senator Mwaruma, then the Governor may respond so that we can move to the other questions on the system.
Yeah, the Governor indicated that there are challenges in terms of collecting revenue from the national government. How much do you think if the national government cooperated, you would collect from the land belonging to the national government? What efforts have you undertaken to collect that revenue? Do you have any annexures or, you know, any support to show that you've made steps towards collecting such revenue? That would be my question.
Governor?
Mr. Chairman.
Sorry, maybe Senator Chesang, so that you can consolidate the questions.
Thank you, Chair. Through you, Chair, I think we have, as the chairman of ICT committee, we have been doing an inquiry, and now we have gone to, I think, more than 9 counties to do an inquiry to do with the revenue collection. And just as an example of the last 2 counties that have gone, we have seen, of course, improvement in terms of on-source revenue. In most of the counties, at least 8 of the counties that you have gone, we have seen improvement. For example, in Machakos, we had the same irregularities of issues to do with on-source revenue. And when we went there, we found out that the governor had fired, I think, a few staff, I think around 30, around 30 staff that were found doctoring the system and trying to, the staffs that were stealing, or maybe they were interfering with the system, the on-source revenue system. But still, for example, Machako, the first time they they sourced their system, they were collecting 30 million. So then later they went to 200 and now they're doing 775 million. The same with Kiambu County, they were doing 2.9 million before the EPR system, billion. And as per now, they are collecting 5. It is the prerogative of the governor just to be serious with this, with the staff, or maybe the issues where he thinks there might be a problem, because you can't honestly be telling us that the slaughterhouse only collected 38,000. Because we people of Trans Nzoia, I think, apart from where we come from, we can afford meat at least, I'm sure. So there must be a problem in the system.
Yeah, there's definitely a problem. The governor has owned up. It's just his response that was evasive, because he attributed this to systems. But I'm glad that under oath you have said that systems cannot be the solution. They can be a problem, but they can never be the ultimate solution.
I've talked about the removal of volunteers that I inherited, the people who are collecting revenue. We removed all of them. We removed all the cashiers who were involved in revenue collection. We recruited new officers, new revenue officers.
I think, with due respect to Senator Cherargei, whatever you're explaining, is it captured anywhere in your written responses?
Yes, yes.
Where?
It is. When you look at our on page 15.
On page?
Of the executive, of the county executive.
Yeah, because we have not gone there. So Senator Cherargei is right to, so please let it not be just you disagreeing with Senator Cherargei, because he also is entitled to his observation. I think just process your thoughts through the chair.
And Chairman, there is no matter that has exercised my mind as the governor of Trans Nzoia than revenue. That is the matter that gives me sleepless nights, because I need to employ more people. The wage bill is high. To accommodate that, I need more revenue. And my officers know that. We've actually participated in all these things to ensure that we up our revenue. So really, it's not that we have not done anything. On the national government, we've got a lot of property that's owned by the national government, including Kenya Seed. The Agricultural Development Corporation has got over 40,000 acres in Trans Nzoia. We've got Kenya Railways, we've got Kefis, we've got Kaluro, all those. But not all of them are paying land rates as they should. I think the only one who is most cooperative is Kenya Seed. Kenya Seed. Kenya Seed. Railways had huge areas. To how much? 20 billion. About 20 billion that they should have paid us, but they have not paid. You know, so the national government again has contributed to some of these things. When you look at Trans Nzoia as the grain basket of Kenya, the people who produce most of this maize own less than half an acre of land. A majority of them. The large-scale landholders are government institutions and a few individuals. So really, the attendant, issues that come along with it is the kind of reality we're facing on the ground. That's why, Mr. Chairman, personally was shocked if CRA can come up with such an outrageous figure and expect that Trans Nzoia can actually raise 4 or 2 billion shillings in terms of taxes. It's just an impossibility.
Senator
Chair, just for the benefit for the benefit of the governor, we have similar problems in Nairobi, where the national government institutions, including where we are seated, have refused to pay Nairobi land rates. When the CS for Treasury was here, he confirmed that there are certain conversations that are happening between county governments like Nairobi that are owed money by national government institutions to swap some of those debts and help counties to be able to receive some benefit from those debts. As Trans Nzoia, have you had conversations with the national government or the national treasury on this specific issue of the national government entities that are not paying what is due to the county?
We have been engaging with the respective departments and state organs, parastatals, on case-by-case basis. And as I've said, so far, Kenya Seed has been paying. I think last financial year they gave us about 20 million in terms of rates. Kenya Railways have been paying, but they've not been able to settle their arrears. Yeah, because the Kenya Railways have got almost 50 acres of land right in the middle of Kitale town. We thought we could swap that debt with that land so they can use to develop the town, but they're not reluctant to have that. They're reluctant to have that kind of conversation.
Chair, just to conclude on that matter, Governor, and I know this may be a very tricky issue, the issue of adjusting rates. Oh, but I don't know whether it is just my county or it's other counties as well. 40 bob for a cow, that could be a bit low. Because then that becomes a very, very, very ineffective revenue stream. I remember I slaughtered cows just the other day, Chair, and I paid several thousands in an abattoir in Kitui. I don't know, 40 bob, Chair, Governor. You want to have a conversation with your people. I mean, you need to raise money also to even manage the abattoirs themselves.
So in our
but Chair, is it fair for us to be pursuing these pennies when we know we can get millions from the people who are not paying Trans Nzoia money? I mean, even if you were to raise the price of slaughtering to 400 shillings, Senator Wambua, with the respect, if we were to help these counties, the conversations we are supposed to have are supposed to be grand conversations. So that even if we were to raise by another how many percent to 400 shillings per cow, the revenue resulting from there will not be as significant as if we were to put pressure on Mbadi and railways to pay up. That's where I think we should focus.
Yeah, but I think members had requested that we find a way out because it's one. By 2:30 we must be in the chamber.
For fairness.
Yeah, please make it very brief.
This issue is not petty at all.
Correct.
It is captured in their own document as a revenue stream.
Yes.
And these small revenue streams add up to more revenue to counties. And pursuing revenue from slaughterhouses and abattoirs is not mutually exclusive to pursuing collection of revenue from the big guys. So let's collect revenue where you can collect revenue. That's why I want to say, Chair.
Chair, just in conclusion, one, I would request your ruling on under collection of 20 million. Number two, Governor, I have not seen, this committee, maybe just the last one, how much is being owed by other institutions outside the county, like Kenya Railways, the national government. And then number three, in your annexures and in your report, you have not, or I didn't see in your response, management response, attached any evidence to show that you are engaging these stakeholders. Maybe the governor can provide that evidence, Chair. And then are there strategies? Because we have seen counties like Yambu, like Nairobi, sometimes they provide waivers. Sometimes so that they encourage pay up of, and it is provided under the PMF Act. So, Governor, are there any strategies? Apart from negotiating, are there any strategies like waivers of rates so that you can improve on collection? Because this own source revenue is very critical. And that may be the reason why the CRA were picking that indicators. And I want to inform the Governor, Chair, as I exit, that in fact during our fourth basis of revenue allocation, it is the CRA indicators that guided on how Trans Nzoia got 1 billion plus extra under division of revenue under this financial year.
Yeah, honorable members, I know we have a lot of experience on this matter, so there's a lot we can advise the governor on. But I think we must move on to the other substantive issues. But the facts are as follows: that on-source revenue dropped by 20 million in the financial year under review. The governor has admitted that there could be data integrity and quality issues. The variations across streams do not make sense, do not add up. So it throws into doubt even the accuracy and integrity of the numbers that have been presented before the Senate. It is also a fact that Trans Nzoia is collecting much less than the defunct local authorities did 15 years ago, and that should be a matter of serious concern. Even if the CRA figures were disputed and 800 million was still the OSR target, the county is only achieving just about 1/4 or perhaps 30% of that target, and that is unacceptable. We therefore would want to recommend as follows. Of course, we will see the positive action taken in subsequent years. The audit is going on. But this 20 million, we must confirm whether it was collected and pocketed, or rather collected and stolen, using the words that you used. EACC, please, you must cause an investigation into the financial affairs and management of the receiver of revenue and collectors of revenue to assure us that every single cent that was collected from the people of Trans Nzoia was reported. And in the event we find that money was collected and not deposited in CRF, please recommend prosecution. Number two, we've got the systems vendor. We will take the written responses, and I think, clerk, we must write to the systems vendor so that they show cause why we should not recommend a debarment as per the Public Audit Act. Because it is wrong for a system vendor to misbehave in Trans Nzoia and then go to West Pokot and continue doing the same things. So we must also take decisive action. So with respect to the systems vendor, we shall be making recommendations for debarment. Of course, they will have an opportunity to come and explain themselves if they disagree with us. Number three, Governor, we expect you to take administrative action on your officers, even if it means designating a receiver of revenue. Because you cannot come to Nairobi and then you say that looks like there's a problem with the data. It might appear as if some money was stolen. Those are issues that your ROR, I mean, that's the only job of a receiver of revenue, from morning to evening. If you cannot take administrative action on the entire complement involved in the revenue, then we might conclude that you are also an accomplice. And I think finally, we made a mistake, perhaps as Senate, to take away the fiscal responsibility index. Because when we said we wanted to do a proper objective ranking of counties, these are the things we must look at. Governor Natembeya I believe, I take judicial notice, that is a very popular governor. Is a very visible governor. But now when we come to the numbers, perhaps it tells a story that is different. So we need an objective assessment of counties based on fiscal responsibility indicators. I think we had already agreed that we're going to do that ranking. And I think on this, Governor Natembeya is going to rank very badly compared to peers, because these are now numbers. This is not just about the personal leadership perception of the governor. So we could leave this matter at that, such that even the other issue on termination will take a view when you're writing a report and make a recommendation on debarment. That can allow us in the remaining period to go to pending bills and also to sample a few projects that are still outstanding. We agree, honorable members? Okay. Fine. So let's go back to report on the executive and start with the issue of pending bills. OAG, you will read your finding under pending accounts payables. OAG.
Thank you, Chair. Pending accounts payables. Note 1 under other disclosures to the financial statements reflects pending accounts payables balance of Kenya shillings 1,371,609,319, out of which Kenya shillings 641,244,901 relates to construction of buildings and civil works. Kenya shillings 507,881,305 on supply of goods and Kenya shillings 222,483,113 on services. Failure to settle bills during the year to which they relate distorts the financial statements for that year and adversely affects the provisions for the subsequent year to which they have to be charged. My opinion is not modified in respect of these matters. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, Governor, the Senate had made a lengthy recommendation that arose from a resolution of the Senate on guidance on how to settle pending bills. You may now take us through your action taken so that we don't waste time rereading the Senate recommendation.
This our response. The county government of Trans Nzoia had pending bills amounting to Kenya shillings 1,497,561,536. Those are the audited amounts in the financial year under review. Out of which pending bills amounted to Kenya shillings 983,234,209 were settled as of 31st March 2025. Kenya shilling 700 has been provided for by the county government in the budget for the financial year 2025-2026 to offset the balance of the verified pending bills and to partially resolve the unverified pending bills for the financial year 2021, 2022, and previous years. The list of total pending bills vis-a-vis the list of pending bills settled is provided under Annex 16, which is pending bills, pending accounts payable, the payment plan. Annex 17, settled pending bills under recurrent. Annex 18, settled pending bills under development. And Annex 19, the budget for financial year 2024-25, and pending bills, pending accounts payable settlement returns.
To start off, Auditor General, what number should we be dealing with? Is it 1.497 or 1.371?
Thank you, Chair. The audited number is 1.371 billion.
Governor, how did this grow by 100 million? Because once you have reported on it, if there's a growth, then that is a matter of great concern. What should be the right number so that we are sure what we are querying? Are the persons who prepared the financial statements here? Yeah, so let's start with that, establish the base.
Honorable Chair, I'll respond. What the Office of the Auditor General is referring to a figure of 1,371,609,319 is actually pending bills that is in relation to merchant payments.
Can you speak English, please? Just tell us what number.
1,371,609,319 shillings.
There's a gap of 125 million. Just explain.
I'm coming to that.
That is what we are interested in.
Okay.
Yeah.
We also had some pending bills in relation to staff pending payables of about 16,800,000 in relation to community health promoters that had not been paid for the month ended June 2024. Then we also have amounts due to other 30-party payments. That is, we have a lab trust, we have a Lake region CBO, support to CBO, and others.
So you're referring to Annex 2, 3, and
Yes,
4?
yes.
So 1.497 is a summation of those three annexes.
That is it.
OAG, that makes sense.
For pending bills, the practice has been to look at merchant payment. So we would want to stick to the merchant payments or the unpaid merchant bills of 1.3 billion.
The rest. OAG, that one I think you are arguing for argument's sake. Because personally, I'm extremely interested in those non-merchant pending bills. When you have 109 million of statutory contributions that are sitting in the pending bills register, that to me is a bigger risk than even the others. So I think I see what they're explaining, but I also hear you. So whether it's 1.3, those were supplies of goods and services, there is a 16 million on payment of CHPs and 109 million on statutory remittances. I think it's okay, it's not an issue. So now let's go and ask ourselves how much of that has been paid of the three category of pending bills.
Honorable Chair, we have during the year under review and subsequently in the year following year we paid 983,294 or 983,294,209 shillings.
So how does that relate to the merchant, the CHPs, and statutory remittances?
Annex. There is an annex. Bring the annex.
Because in your financial statements, all the statutory remittances were completely unpaid and remained at 109 million.
Honorable Chair, on the Annex 16, 17, 18, and 19 that has been put in one booklet, we have the last page, which is a summary of what was paid. We have audited pending bills 2023-2024, including 22-23.
Which page is that? Last page?
The last page on that annex booklet.
Annex 6, 17, 18, and 19. The last page.
Where we go with this? Yeah. Total this.
Okay, proceed.
Last summary page, we have pending bills in relation to merchants that was audited at 1,371,609,319. What we paid was 494,209 shillings, leaving as a balance of 405,115,110 shillings. And we have indicated as an action to be taken to be provided and settled for in the financial year 2025-2026. That's what His Excellency was referring to as a provision of 700 million to cover part of that.
Did that annexure satisfy a query on the 109 million?
Yeah.
Where is it?
109 million is included in the second row on that summary page, where we have said other third-party payables for the year 2023, 24, and 22, 23, and 23-24.
Please just move a bit slowly and so
Chair.
that we are with you.
The last page, Chairman, the last page.
Last page of annex?
Yeah.
Annex what?
16, 17, 18, and 19, the last page.
That page, just hold it up, Governor.
This one.
That one that looks like stained litmus paper.
Oh, yes.
So what do we make out of it?
It's just a summary of what was paid.
Segregated payment of pending bills as you asked.
So maybe, Chair, as you look at it, is it possible to disaggregate the third-party payables, 22, 23, 24, which read 273 million? What are these? Is it loans? Is it NHIF, SHA? What are they? You've only paid 16 million. And I would be worried if it is loans belonging to workers or employees. I would really be worried.
There are quite a number of payments there through Honorable Chair. We talked of the issue of lab trust. We have some other financial support we are offering. Then we have associations and subscriptions.
Officer, I think you might want to approach this from this route. You paid 16.8.
Yes.
Under that row.
Yes.
And you had 16.8 in your financial statements.
Yes.
For stipends for CHPs.
Right, Chair.
Are those two related?
Yes.
So that 16.8 was a stipend for CHPs.
That is it, Your
So
Chair.
that leaves out, that means the 109 has not been paid.
Yeah, we were not able to settle that.
And 109 are statutory, are unremitted pension liabilities, subscriptions, pensions, etc., etc., statutory deductions, which are some of which are effected through the payroll. Why wouldn't you pay that?
We actually recognize them as pending payables from prior years, even before August 2022. That is before the current regime. So why we provided them in the financial statements to enable us to have a basis
you have
for
a column
payment.
here for date contracted.
Yes.
We can see the date contracted 2023, 2023, 2022, 2023.
Right.
So this one you're not running away from. These are statutory deductions unremitted during the financial year of 109 million.
Correct. What 109 million relates to the financial year 2022-2023, but what we incurred and accrued was for the financial year 2023-24 was 16,800,000, which we settled, Chair.
Why does 109 million sit in your books as unremitted statutory deductions? That is a question.
Those were just arrears,
They were just
They were inherited arrears.
Their pensions, their monies deducted from employees.
Yes.
Kept by the county government.
Yes.
And held under the English of inherited arrears.
True.
Governor, you see the team that you are running?
Chairman,
I mean, do you understand my concern? Because the money has been deducted from employees. It is sitting somewhere there in the entity.
Mr. Chairman, we inherited the debt, not the money. Because this 119 was inherited, money that was due to LAP Fund, NSSF, all those entities. The money was not paid, but we don't know where the money is. Today, as we speak, we remit money as we deduct.
Yeah, Governor, there was a colleague of yours who told us that because of these issues of late exchequer releases, sometimes entities pay the net salary to employees. And then you have to look at your cash flow to be able to pay the statutory deductions later. If that is the case, just explain. Just explain. Is that the case in Trans Nzoia?
In our case, that's not the case in Trans Nzoia.
What is the case? Well, how did the chair wants to know?
So why I'm explaining this, Chair, is that for you to be able to set any pending bill, it must be reflected on the face of your financial statements. That's why we saw it prudent for us to reflect this and have it audited by the office.
We are interested.
I'm only giving an explanation first.
You'll move slowly. I'm the one giving directions.
Good Governor.
Senator.
Because when you tell us the disease, don't tell penalties that were being imposed by KRA on late statutory remittances. It is this committee that made sure KRA held back on that. So the question we're asking, how did the debt arise? That if you explain that, we move on to the next issue.
Senator Wambua.
Chair, in the interest of time, if I had the governor may want to listen to this. If I heard the governor correctly, he said that this 109 is inherited from before 2022. Yeah? And I think he went on to say they inherited the bill, not the money. So what the governor is saying is that yes, he is admitting there is money that was deducted from people's salaries, not remitted where it was supposed to be remitted in previous administrations, and to date that has not been settled. If that is the position, Chair, then perhaps the question would be, what is the county government doing? Because this is actually a criminal act. You know, you have deducted money from a member of staff and you have not remitted. What is the county government doing to fast track the remittances of the 109? I know that's the conversation.
I think that is our working definition as you have described it. So that's what we need to deal with.
So that the governor can answer both. There's account. Argument here that this might not be inherited debts, because that second line reads other third-party payables for 2022, 2023, 2023, 2024. If it is 2020, to 2023, that is the time governor came into office. Yeah, beginning July 1, 2022. And there was no money released by Exchequer. I think in May and June, that money came to be released after elections. So this can't be inherited bills.
Okay, yes. So you are varying the working definition. Senator Cherargei?
You could not make photocopies for this committee, but in your payment in item number 311, LASEC Limited, order 186, you paid payment for purchase of 2 photocopiers worth 398,000. So, Governor, to tell this committee you could not photocopy because you don't have photocopiers is a story you can tell to Bart some other time. Chair, let me go to this on the issue. Says that I'm very keen in your management response. He said he's a truthful man. So I'm assisting him in finding truth. Finally, Governor, you have said to offset the balance of verified pending bills and to partially resolve the unverified pending bills. So which are these unverified pending bills? I really want to know that part. Because I have agreed you have you have given us, and I've looked at your financial statements as per your chief officer has said, is you have 1.4 billion and you have brought down, including the financial, you have put around, is it 700 million to this financial year of 2025. I'm keen on the partially resolve the unverified pending bills for the financial year 2021, 2022 and prior years. Could you be generous enough with information? Tell us how much is this, because you have been specific by
Yeah.
Maybe by giving us your version of the working definition of the problem.
109 million, that's in our document. These are debts that were inherited, not just from the first regime of devolution, but all the way with the municipalities and county councils, including the LAP fund and so forth. That's the money that we inherited. So it's appearing in 2023 because we cannot really wish it away. We must put it here and find a way of responsible government. We had the assumption of office committee, and one of the things they were looking at was the pending bills. And the figure went to almost about 1.2 billion shillings. And it kept on mutating and increasing. What we did, we formed a committee that was chaired by the former Auditor General, Dr. Edward Oko. He came up with a report that classified eligible and ineligible pending bills. But I think some people who found themselves on the list of ineligible ones rushed to court. And the court, in this opinion, felt that Mr. Oko was not actually not verifying pending bills, that he was doing audit, which we disagree with. We disagreed. And that's why we formed our own pending bills verification committee that has been working. We have been able to reduce that figure from that 1.2 billion. We are coming down. We believe by the time we are done, we'll have a figure that we can really defend. And that's why we've made a provision of 700 million in the current budget, knowing that the pending bills, actually pending bills are about 441 million. But we know you're going to have the inherited pending bills that also need to be paid because this work was done by our own people in Tanzania, and they've been asking for their money. That explained and verified because we have not yet concluded the verification process. We believe you're going to conclude it during this financial year. If there'll be any money left pending or as an extra from the provision, then of course it's going to be applied to other needed things within the county.
Senator Sifuna and then Controller of Budget may have stepped out. Maybe I'll toss this to the Treasury to tell us how statutory deductions should be treated, because last week we were told that recovery of interest is the first of all first charges. And why should we be raising requisitions, disbursements for settlement of other matters when statutory deductions prescribed in law are being done in the county but not being remitted to the relevant bodies? I think you need to advise us on that, because this 109, whether it was of defunct authorities of yesterday or today, there must be a commitment on its settlement. Senator Sifuna.
Mr. Chairman, if you indulge me, I'd forgotten something on that 109. I think the senators, view is the same explanation we get from Transoya, that because of insufficiency of funds, people are just being paid net salaries. Paid net salary, and therefore these other deductions, actually the money was not being deducted, so it was not there because the funds were not sufficient. So you just pay a salary, and then all these other deductions, including even pay as you earn. People are not paying, and that's why sometimes we get even penalties from KRA. As I said, we're not running out from this.
Do you agree with that explanation?
I do.
How do you agree with it? Because when you make requisitions from the control of budget, your requisition gross.
This is current, Mr. Chairman. We're talking about municipal councils and county councils. They were just paying net because the funds were not sufficient. So you'll assume that actually they deducted the money for LAP fund, when indeed they did not deduct the money.
Senator Sifuna?
Mine is a very small, curious observation. Governor, these are next year 17. When I look at the first page and the second page, there's a lot of women groups who are doing business with your county. I can count almost 20 on this page too. From Bicholwa to Rambisia to Kendelesia, I can see a lot of women groups. What is the story in Trans Nzoia? Very briefly. No, we need to learn from other people. Like, yeah. What is the story, Governor?
What we do in Trans Nzoia is that we've tried to operationalize APO, access to government procurement opportunities, by young people, by women, and people living with disabilities. They form groups, and those groups, we give them company names. Through, of course, Huduma centers, they are given company names to trade with the county government. So what we do, once we give them the money, we also give them a tender to do. Yeah, we don't just give people money to go look for work, and then they'll come telling you we bought chicken and they all died. So we'll give you a government tender and government funds to go and do this. And so just a way of empowering our people. That's why you can see all those groups there.
Okay, I think he sampled the first 2 pages. We don't know what appears in the other pages. But let's go to the substantive issue on how to treat this 109 so that we can give directions.
Mr. Chairman, it's actually more than 109. We're having an engagement with Lab Fund. Lab Fund is asking for 600 million.
So this disclosure is not
Lab Trust CPF, they're asking for 1.2 billion.
You have only captured 33.4 million here.
Yes.
Honorable Chair. It goes back to my question.
Senator.
Governor, you needed to be precise, and it was just a simple question. You have said after UCO's committee was ruled by Kitale High Court that they didn't have the power except the OAG. You said you formed internal verification committee through the chair. You have talked about legible and illegible pending bills. So I wanted you to be precise. Tell us how much is legible pending bills, how much are ineligible pending bills. Because ineligible, it means you cannot pay. So why are you providing for in the budget? Of 700 million, yet you come back and you say what you are sure of is 241 million that is pending. So give us the global figure that these are eligible pending bills that I form and these are ineligible. Then tell us the story behind it, because you are shifting from 1.2 billion. You are saying you have allocated 700 million in the budget. You are saying you are sure that eligible is 241 million. So what is the story in this verification pending committee, and is it through the chair? Can you provide that report of internal verification?
Chairman, what I said was that the former Auditor General, Edward Oko, chaired the committee on pending bills. His report was challenged in court and it was set aside. We didn't just fold our arms and sat there. We formed our own pending bills verification committee whose work is not complete. But we are hoping it's going to end this financial year. And if it does, we shall have some money on the budget to start settling those pending bills. That's why other than the 441 million.
Governor, Senator, what's your
Chair, maybe I just wondered how long has been this internal committee been operating?
Okay, let's allow the governor to respond. And I hope we could make very brief responses so that we can go to other issues.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. The governor has delegated to me the responsibility to respond on that. The internal verification committee was set in July 2024. And part of the term of reference is actually to look at the available documentation in line with pending bills. Remember, for a bill to be eligible, it must have full documentation. So that is part of the terms of reference. Two, the committee is open even to third-party information. Honorable Chair, as we sit here, there are merchants and people who did business or provided service to the county government of Trans Nzoia who are not even within our knowledge, because when we took over office, we did not have documentary evidence to indicate this is how much they are claiming from us. So part of that, on the TOR, they also receive information because some of them even go to court, secure court decrees to have them paid. So once that is done, we now subject it to the internal verification committee to verify whether internally this debt was incurred or not. So for us to be here and indicate that actually we have a definite figure might not be at this moment, because we don't know even who is coming tomorrow to present information on claiming anything to be paid from Trans Nzoia County. Thank you, Chair.
Unfortunately, are you a member of the institute?
Yes, sir.
You are a CPA?
Member number 11966.
What is the expectation when it comes to financial assets reporting under accrual basis in this financial year?
We have to ensure we disclose.
And so you cannot tell us that you are so uncertain, because in this financial year, you must have certainty. And your responsibility must be to advise the governor that this exercise must come to an end. It cannot be bottomless, because in this financial year, you start recognizing your non-financial assets and liabilities.
True.
Are rent pending bills part of the non-financial liabilities?
They are part of it, Honorable Chair. What I am indicating is that we have a window of about 3 years to ensure full compliance. And actually that is part of what we are doing to ensure that we have verified pending bills to disclose. Chair, as you all know, you cannot just disclose a figure. You cannot be able to place a hand on it by having documentary evidence to support your disclosure.
So let's deal with what you have disclosed here.
Yeah.
Because those are now stories for the future.
Yeah.
You have disclosed that you had 1 or 9 million as statutory deductions.
Yes.
The governor disputes that. He believes it's a higher figure. But let's go with your disclosure. Where is this money in your payment plan?
We have indicated, Chair. We have a payment plan.
Where is it?
On the Annex 16, 17, and 18, we have a payment plan there.
So, for example, can you just show us the entry where you are now remitting to, because they include even contributions to the car and mortgage scheme of 20 million.
Yeah.
That was not there before devolution, so that is a present problem. They include transfers to Trans Nzoia County receive of revenue. I wonder how that then sits in the other pending payables. So have you demonstrated how you are paying this 109, or you are still disputing it?
No, we have demonstrated in the plan.
Where?
Chair.
Page what? Row what? Column what?
And we can be able to check through. I hope we'll have time, Chair, but allow us time to verify
Treasury.
and give you.
Treasury, statutory deductions, because they are deductions that are directed by law. Do we have this luxury that the county is indulging in? That they can take whatever time they need and pay whenever they want to pay?
Thank you, Chair. In response to statutory deductions, actually they have very strict timelines on when they should be paid, and failure to pay them, they will attract penalties for the period they have remained unpaid. Regarding the pending bills, now that I am on the mic, I would advise the county government that the pending bills that they know for sure, they should disclose them. Now that we have moved from cash accounting to accrual, and the ones that they are not very sure, they should be classified as contingent liabilities, and they should also be disclosed in the financial statements.
Thank you. Maybe we can also hear from COB. COB, how do you authorize withdrawals when you have statutory deductions that have not been remitted? I know in our resolution, we didn't seem to have addressed the issue of statutory deductions. And I think we need to amend that resolution so that we give very clear directives on that, and even say that the COB should not approve further withdrawal if statutory deductions from a prior withdrawal have not been remitted. Because I think that's proper financial sense. How do you deal with that?
Before the control of budget response, I'm told there is a new system of making sure that whatever the control of budget releases in terms of payments, then there is no way of voiding. How possible is that? That if it is statutory deductions, then the statutory deductions must go where they're supposed to be. How is it?
COB?
Thank you, Chair. Now, when counties come to requisition funds, they usually requisition the gross amount. The gross amount will include all the statutory deductions. So at no point does the county requisition a net. So it is expected that counties once request for the gross amounts, that they will deduct and remit the deductions, statutory deductions, including sometimes where we have check-off loans from staff. So when a county fails to remit those deductions that have been requested, then that is an injustice even to the employees. It's
Is
like
that an injustice or it's an offense?
it's an offense because it's
So
like
it's criminal.
you are stealing from them.
Chair.
Senator Ombo?
Chair, you know, there's one thing that we seem to be forgetting, I don't know. So if the deductions were not made in the first place, are they still valid pending bills? Because if then the position is that at some point these counties, these entities, whether the municipalities or county councils, if they were paying net of the salaries, are we saying that the county is odd? Because the collection and remittance of statutory deductions, counties are acting as agents of KRA. They are collecting on behalf of KRA. So if they have not collected, is it a pending bill?
In fact, Chair, just to jog the memory of the committee, the reason why KRA was amenable to the request by this same committee to waive those penalties on late remittances was because they acknowledged that the problem is with the national government. And the question, Chair, back then was, you have a national treasury here, which is responsible for disbursement of money. It disburses money late, counties get into these problems. Then another national agency called KRA is imposing a penalty on late remittances. And that is how they were able to say, this is something we are willing to look at. This was a former CS for Treasury, who was before this committee. So there is that angle that also needs to be considered, in my view.
Chair.
Reverend from the Treasury, and then Vice Chair.
Okay, thank you, Chair. I want to put into record that the National Treasury eventually pays all the money that is due to the county government. That is by law. We have to remit all the money that is due to the county government. So probably it's an issue of delay or the timing difference, but all in all, eventually, the National Treasury is obligated by law to pay all the money that is due to the county government. And therefore, if they did not deduct, there is no way they can say they did not deduct and that employee earned a salary. The employee earned a salary plus the statutory deductions. So as this committee make a deliberation on this matter, they should consider probably the timing difference, but the aspect of the National Treasury not remitting the money is not there.
I think, Reverend, as a man of God, surely you are aware that the Senate also passes something called a disbursement schedule. There's a reason why the law requires a disbursement schedule. You cannot say eventually we will pay. Who plans with such things in mind? You have a responsibility to follow what the Senate has done, and everybody knows, it's public knowledge, that you never follow the disbursement. The government's approach to start incurring interest. You just borrow what is sufficient to pay the net salaries of the staff. So this is something we are aware of, Chair.
Now, there's a just look at it so that we tick it off, so that we can establish whether this is a current problem or it is a historical problem. OAG, just take us through that, then we see whether that was satisfied, because you had queried 923 million of statutory dues that were non-remitted. I think it's on page General's report, non-remittance of statutory dues. Yeah. Just read it out, then tell us whether this matter has been addressed so that we can contextualize this problem.
Yes. Thank you, Chair. Non-remittance of statutory dues.
Yes, proceed.
Analysis of the payroll data revealed that staff were deducted pay-as-you-earn payee amounting to Kenya shillings 530,700,799, National Social Security Fund (NSSF) of Kenya shillings 343,282,000 statutory dues amounting to Kenya shillings 49,661,383, all totaling Kenya shillings 923,644,572. However, no evidence was provided for audit confirmation to show that the deductions were remitted to the relevant authorities as required. Failure to remit statutory deductions on time contravenes the Income Tax Act, National Hospital Insurance Fund Act, the National Social Security Fund Act, which may result in fines and penalties. In the circumstances,
I think that's what Senator Sifuna has been trying to amplify. So to avoid wastage of time, we shall not read our recommendation in full. We'll just go to your management response on this.
Mr. Chairman, our response is very brief and factual. The payment for the statutory deduction was provided, that evidence was provided during the audit exercise as tabulated in the table. I want to confirm that Trans Nzoia, we are current. Every single cent that we deduct, we remit. What happened, I think, was maybe communication breakdown between the auditors and the relevant offices because they provided the evidence of payment of remittance.
So let's get the confirmation of the OAG. OAG, you raised this, it was in the management letter, it was in the draft certificate, it was in the final certificate. If the evidence was there, why was it not provided?
Thank you, Chair. What I can confirm, during the verification, we have found that the statutory deductions, the current ones, were actually deducted and also remitted and paid. So as of now, they do not have this outstanding on the current, except the 109 or any other amount that they may come up with. Our position is that during the audit, because we went through a process, this was not provided, and probably the payments have been done after the
Point
audit
of order,
had been
Chair.
concluded.
What is the OAG saying? I'm trying to get him. So are you saying it was misreported, or are you saying when you raise this issue up to the exit meeting and management letter, you never captured? Can you stand kuwa na msimamo. You know, you are saying this and this, oh, we are confusing all of us.
No, our stand is that we have
This
now
was misreported.
No, that was the correct position as then.
So
I
and
think
then there was no payment.
OG, you agree with the report as tabled, but now what you are saying is that you have seen evidence subsequent, isn't it?
Yes.
So that
that's the
we
position.
apply the provisions of Section 52 of the Public Audit Act.
Section 62.
Section 62.
Of the Public
So that
Audit
the
Act.
officer was supposed to provide that information and did not.
Yes.
We recommend the investigation and prosecution.
Yes.
Is that
That's the true position.
so that then confirms that going forward, statutory deductions are being remitted. The problem are the historical ones.
Yeah, correct.
Maybe members should direct or advise control of budget that we should give counties maybe some 6 months to reconcile the historical statutory dues and ensure that they've got a payment plan, failure to which requisitions should not be honored. Because if you've got contributions to LAP Fund, LAP Trust, SACCOs, and all those entities, the person suffering is employee. In their payslip, it indicates that they were contributing to LAP Fund or LAP Trust. But when they go to check the actuarial valuations, it indicates that their money never came through. I mean, there has to be a way of closing this, and maybe we can debate internally.
Mr. Chairman,
and agree with the COB on a time frame. Yeah, Governor.
Because some of these amounts of money have accrued for a very long period of time. I don't know if it's possible for the Treasury to make a provision for maybe a conditional grant, purposely to sort out this long outstanding. Debts. They are told your money was not remitted.
Nairobi pending bill of 100 billion is actually monies owed to those two institutions. There was a resolution of the Senate on the same. And from
CPIC.
Yes.
CPIC did an inquiry on non-remittance of statutory deductions.
Okay, so what was the resolution of the Senate?
Let me follow up with the clerk of the committee.
I remember that matter coming before us.
Fine.
But separately, you have seen, Chair.
With LAP Fund, of course, my main concern is that, this money is an investment. So when we do these discussions, we argue in a manner that removes the interest, so that at the end of the day, the pensioner doesn't get what is actually due to them. Yeah. So you're making a compromise, but who is suffering? The past suffering is not part of the negotiation. So you can see we are moving from 1.2 billion and we agreed to pay like 300 million. So this amount that you're forfeiting is due to somebody who is not going to get that dues.
Honorable
Chair, maybe just two clarification.
Then in the next few minutes you can look at a few projects.
Chair, maybe, so Governor, in this 700 million that we have allocated in financial year 2025-2026, is 109 part of the payment plan for these statutory deductions? And then number two, you have indicated in your response, which is very brief, that this information was provided. Have you taken any administrative action for non-provision of documentation as per Section 62 of the Public Audit Act? Whether, and then finally, Sifuna, hold your horses. Relax. Finally, Chair, in this non-remittance, you'll have your cherry and you'll buy it. Yes, yes. Bishop, can you be praying for Sifuna so that he can hold his horses? Chair, and finally, on non-remittance of statutory deductions, in this provision, what is, you have said that Treasury should provide conditional grant. You have had conversation with Lab Fund, Lab Trust, and maybe KRA. In this 109, are there interests that they have charged on this 109 million? Thank you, Chair.
Please have your mic on so that you're on record.
Yeah, I'm saying interest, actually that when we discuss this, the interest actually compounded. So we discussed, you know, they should compound interest, we remove all the interest. But that's the money that's due to pension with the pensioner. So it's not the county government losing or the lab fund losing, it's actually the pensioner who is losing. That's why I thought maybe if the government can find another way of cushioning these people, because the people who have worked for government, they've retired, now they're having very many non-communicable diseases, and then they need money. At the end of the day, we're telling them, your money was not remitted.
Okay.
On the issue of
700 million.
On the issue of failure to provide the documents for remitted funds, Mr. Chairman, will have to guide here because it's not becoming an issue that you gave, you didn't give. You gave, we didn't give. Because my officers are saying we gave the documentation.
No, that's why we are saying it shall be investigated.
Yes.
Yeah, so action will only be taken after investigation.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe maybe clarify, Governor, on this 700. So are you intending
That's what I'm coming to.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, the 700 million is provided for in the current budget, 25-26, to sort out the verified pending bills that are known. We've paid partly 993 million. There's about 441 million that have not paid. The 700 million is going to pay part of that, all of that, 441. And then we said the unverified pending bills, most of them which were inherited. We're going to verify them. If they're more than the balance, then we're going to make a provision for 2026-27. If they're less, then the saving will go to other county government activities.
I'm just curious. That 700 million is for 2025, 2026.
Yes.
What is your development budget for that financial year?
You need a budget.
Just a figure.
Please, let's move quickly. By 2:30, the Speaker will be requiring us in the House.
What percentage? I know it's more than 30% of the total budget.
It's more than 30%.
Yeah, we are compliant there.
Okay.
I think it's 3.3 billion.
So, honourable members, I think as we, for us to move to the next issue, the Auditor General has confirmed that the issue of statutory remittances is now going forward, is now being resolved, but we are going to make recommendations on the historical ones and also recommendations on those who failed to provide documents. Auditor, keep these in view now that you're doing the current audit to confirm that there's proper disclosure in line with accrual basis of reporting. But control of budget, I think we'll also be having conversations on how to tighten the non-remittance of statutory deductions. If you agree, honourable members, you could move quickly to look at a few projects. Let's start with the construction of the county headquarters, 498 million. Auditor General, your observation was quite brief. You can read it, and then the Governor can give us an update.
Thank you, Chair. In complete construction of the county's headquarters, the county executive awarded a local contractor the contract to construct the Trans Nzoia County headquarters at a contract sum of Kenya shillings 498,835,545 on 29th June 2023 for a period of 56 weeks. As previously reported, the Tender Evaluation Committee did not conduct due diligence to confirm the qualifications of the contractor, contrary to Section 83, subsection 1 of the Public Procurement and Assets Disposal Act 2015. Fiscal verification carried out on 9th September 2024 revealed that a signboard costing Kenya shillings 250,000 was not erected in the construction site as indicated in the bill of quantities. The project had reached 60th floor, and construction on the helipad was ongoing at approximately 63% complete. However, the certificate of completion and handing over minutes were not provided for audit. In the circumstances, the value for money on the expenditure incurred on the project could not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, you may take us to the page where your response is contained.
Page 49, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, you may proceed. We gave recommendations in line with prioritization of completion of stalled projects and also administrative action that was proposed there for non-provision of documents. Please give us your response on action taken.
The Department of Public Service Management awarded tender number 1293050 of 2022-23 to CM East Africa Construction Limited for the proposed construction of county headquarters at a contract sum of 5 Kenya shillings 498,835,545. Mr. Chairman, the due diligence report was availed but was not considered during the audit exercise. However, the report is available for audit review. On the issue of the signboard is erected. There was an attempt to steal it, but it's now erected at the strategic place. The delay in erecting it was caused by the risk of vandalism, and we have annexed Annex 7, the due diligence report, and Appendix 19.1, the photo of the signboard. The current status, that's at 2024 June. The proposed construction of the Trans Nzoia County Headquarters overall progress is at 90%, as per the attached architectural consultant's report. Annex 8, the signboard is erected. There is a budgetary allocation attached, that's attached supplementary budget and by financial year 2025-2026. Mr. Chairman, I can confirm that the project is now complete and we are moving in.
This was a greenfield. It's not an inherited stall project.
No.
So you started from scratch?
From scratch.
From 29th of June, 2023.
Yes.
56 weeks ought to have lapsed in August 2024.
Yes.
Because a year has 52 weeks.
Yes.
So it is out of scope as far as time is concerned.
Yes, the delays were explained. What are the reasons?
Okay. Well, I think let's first establish. So it has gone beyond the time. Has it gone beyond the budget?
No.
Why the supplementary that you have referred to here?
There were external works which were not part of the original design, and these are majorly the perimeter wall. It wasn't there, and then of course the public. What do you call it? Sanitary facilities.
So what's the percentage variation so far?
Is how much? Huh? No, the money.
We've only paid 50%.
Variation.
Of the project.
Yes.
It's actually 15%.
It's actually 15%.
15% variation?
Yes.
Project is at 90%?
It's now complete.
It is complete as we speak?
Yes.
The 90% here?
That was for 2024, the financial year.
Was for 2024?
Yes.
So, Auditor, the two things you had flagged was due diligence report and signboard. So, did you get the due diligence report?
Yes, Chair. I think this is the difficulty we always find ourselves in with regard to documents not provided during the audit. That even if they are provided later on, their authenticity cannot be confirmed. But I confirm, yes, we have received that due diligence report. We have reviewed it. we have also confirmed that the signboard has been put. I think the only issue is the building is now under occupation. However, I think it's only having a certificate of partial completion. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, you see, is this a matter that is part of your investigations?
Yes, Chair, this is a matter that is part of our current investigations.
Okay. Honorable members, Senator Cheragi.
Governor, if you are saying that the county headquarters is complete, one is that you say there's a variation of 15%. Is it inclusive of this 499 million approximately? And then number two, if you are saying the county headquarters is complete, I saw in some media outlets that you have already occupied. And the OAG is saying you have partial certificate of completion. Why would you occupy a building that is one, you don't have a certificate of occupation by Public Works? Number two, is there occupation certification? Is the building insured just in case of liability? So tell us on the 15% variation, the occupation, whether all documents are attached here, because I'm trying to look at Annex 7 is only due diligence and erections of the signboard. And if it is not complete, is there a budgetary allocation? Because I can see from due diligence report that you have provided. That will be my last question on the, just a moment, on this. You have said in, this one was due diligence report, Chair, for the proposal of Trans Nzoia, this was 100 million. And whether these 3 years financial review period has been done. So can you provide that? And Governor, having served previously, I thought it is important to follow law. Even if there was an agency of occupying an office, even this building. I remember when Bunge Towers was being inaugurated, one of the critical important aspect was certificate of occupation provided by Public Works, because from the information from the OAG, when during our brief, Chair, there is no insurance cover for the building. So can you highlight, maybe you have it, but it's not here, so that we can get that clarity?
Yeah, so now the governor can respond to the same issues. Governor, my concern is with the signboard. I have a concern there. 2 things. One, this signboard looks very ordinary. How it is costing 250,000, I don't know. And then secondly, why would somebody want to steal it? Is it made of gold? I mean, what? Why would you steal this? I mean, so just tell us the story around that billboard.
You want the governor to speak on behalf of thieves?
Yeah, you say that there's somebody who wanted to steal it. I mean, it looks.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very curious response.
Yeah.
Governor.
Mr. Chairman, I think the issue of the signboard, the cost was in the BQ. So maybe the auditors need to make a determination whether it was worth it. But I think you follow the specification of that signboard. It may look like that because we know it's just a photo. Maybe if you go to the ground, you can see something completely different. As to Senator Cherargei's issue, I don't know if you should respond, Mr. Chairman, because it's not an audit query. It's not an audit issue for 2024, 2023, 2024.
No, when you come to Parliament, there is something called supplementary questions, so that is allowed. So if you don't have records or evidence to respond, you are also free to ask for.
So by 2024, the year in question we had not occupied the building because it was not complete. It was at 90% complete. But as I've said, it's now complete, and we were asking for some indulgence from this committee so that we can even demonstrate it. Here on the screen, you see how it is. Because people may think that's just an academic exercise, some abstract thing. The building.
If time would have allowed us, we would have demonstrated to us the helipad and the number of helicopters the county government has for it to be a necessity.
The helipad is for people like you when you come to visit Trans Nzoia.
I come on ground.
But
Our
chair does not own a chopper.
Yeah, I don't own a chopper. I don't know how many choppers do you own as a
Not everybody who has a chopper owns it actually. You can always hire.
So members, I think for efficiency.
Chair, maybe for even governor, you know, under Article 229 says Parliament shall consider OAG reports. So we have power to get more information.
Yes.
A direct question was, if you are now occupying the building, it was just a simple question that, is there a certificate of occupation and issues of insurance? You and me know that, God forbid, if a liability occurs, you must show covered, and I think the OAG has never shown us. So if Mwananchi works and he gets injured, you can imagine the implication, and your advocate or the county attorney will tell you the danger that you are subjecting yourself and everybody else. You maybe you have taken life cover for yourself. But what about the ordinary, the one you normally walk around in Tawe movement? Do they have life cover? They don't.
Governor, very brief.
We are currently not in occupation of that building.
So what we do is this, because this is not part of the stalled projects. This is a project that was initiated in at the more or less at the beginning of the financial year under review, because it was awarded at the end of June 2023.
Yes.
And it was to run for 56 weeks. Now the governor says it's complete. Auditor, this is now where you come in to do your postmortem and to confirm whether it was done lawfully and efficiently. And perhaps you will go and ask those questions as to why we needed a helipad, and you're going to ask those questions as whether a certificate of occupation has been issued.
Chair, maybe Governor, you are or not, are you saying no one is occupying that county headquarters as per now? No one. No one. No, just go on record. Your mic is off.
Mr. Chairman, as we sit here, I'm not in occupation of that building.
It is still under the hands of the contractor.
Yes.
So let's allow the Auditor General to keep this in view, update us in the current audit, and Auditor, please, where $500 million shillings has been spent, the audit query cannot be a signboard worth 250,000. That cannot be the audit query. There are those overruns in terms of time, in terms of variation, in terms of the questions being raised by Senator Cherargei. So please do a proper audit examination of this particular project. EACC, the file is before you. We are not going to direct you on what to do with it. All we are asking for is that you speed up your investigations so that if there is malpractice, people should be prosecuted. And if there isn't, also you need to tell us what the position is. So we keep this in view.
Now, can I say something?
Yes, Governor?
Just an observation, because we know the Senate is the one that's in charge of the evolution and protecting county governments and the counties and the county governments. What I've learned as a first-time governor is that every time you do a big project that's worth millions of shillings, it attracts a lot of interest. And majorly is about fault finding. People have got this belief that if you do a project worth 50 million, you've taken 5 million. You do 100 million, you've taken 10 million. And people come with that attitude and they're coming to find that. So even if they don't find it, they try to find it. How do we cure this? Because then, in my mind, maybe going forward, we focus on these small little things and do many of them. Like, you are doing roads, you are doing toilets, you are doing little things that nobody has got a big interest in. I think I'm the only county government in Kenya today that has completed the county headquarters within the budget set by the control of budget. And even if I've extended the time a little bit, it's not so much. The national government has been doing county headquarters for counties. Trans Nzoia was not part of it. We've used our own disbursements, our own source of revenue to do that. But the county government, the national government has been giving conditional grants to counties to do headquarters. Mine have done it within time. And it's like it gives even a bad name. Because the moment you hear ESs that are looming all over the place, coming, they picking that, and not they're announcing to the whole world that we're investigating this. Why don't you investigate and then announce? Why do you announce and then start investigating? Because at the end of the day, You've already been persecuted
Chair,
in public.
You must protect the stakeholders in this meeting.
Yeah.
EACC is
Let
not
me finish first
query.
because
Governor.
I made a disclaimer. I made a disclaimer.
Governor, I gave indications that in the next 16 minutes, whatever we discuss here will be null and void because the House will be in session. We have not made any adverse recommendation as a Senate on this matter. We have asked the Auditor General to review it to ensure it is lawful and effective. The EACC on their own motion are doing investigations. It's not prompted by us. So let's allow these institutions to do what they are supposed to do. So that is with regards to...
Chair, just for the record, because this is a House of Records, I want to state that if I heard the governor speak, he said that the Senate is a defender of counties and their governments. And he's raising concern that every time county governments set out to do big projects, there is some unnecessary interest created around those projects. And he's asking whether the option would then be to do small little things that attract no interest. And he has mentioned the EACC. It's not mentioned in bad light. He's just saying that why can't you investigate and announce the results of your investigations instead of announce to everybody that I want to begin investigations on this building and nothing comes out of it. I think it's a fair comment.
I think, Senator Wambua, we had the EACC here 3 weeks ago. We discussed that,
yes.
And we gave them our thoughts, which are aligned to what the governor is saying. Yes. So let's not reopen
and
the debate now.
And for the information to Senator Wambua, who was in that meeting, part of the investigation of EACC was on impressed by the MCS. Was it from your account?
No,
so it doesn't mean.
So let's not reopen that.
No, it was.
Senator Cherargei,
it was on record.
I will.
It has been
no, it was not his county. It was Makueni.
No, it was not the county. I think it was Makueni.
So let's proceed.
So,
let's proceed in this manner.
Just
for
a
purposes
comment,
of time.
just so that I conclude like Wambua, is that yes, I want to inform the governor because we had an honor of attending that meeting. That yes, is investigating all issues. Chair. And if governor wants to make some comments, those are political statements. He can make it somewhere else.
I'm very sure the governor was very clear on what
One final word, please.
I'm very sure he was very clear.
It's not just EACC alone. It attracts interest from all over, including DCI. Sometimes they're requesting for the same document. EACC wants it, DCI wants it. You know, it's like a scramble for these things.
Governor, they call it, it's par for the course. That comes with your territory, that comes with your position. I think the only thing we can subject to debate is a matter which we ourselves are referring to EACC. For example, the issue of on-source revenue, we have asked EACC to investigate for good reasons. So anything that EACC is doing on their own motion, we cannot interfere with that. The next project is Natembeya Mother and Child Hospital. Cumulative sum of 142 million. From the responses, the governor indicates that the projects have just been completed. If that is the case, then we can ask the Auditor General to keep them in view, because maybe there is information that the county has that was not there at the time of audit. The two issues, Natembeya Mother and Child Hospital, in complete construction. The responses that we are seeing here, we are seeing a certificate of practical completion. Auditor General, you can confirm that?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I wish to confirm that the projects are completed, but not in use. So the issue of value for money continues to hold true.
So can you then, in the current audit that you're doing, again review it for lawfulness and effectiveness? I think it would be better that way instead of trying to hypothesize. Country Aggregation and Industrial Park at Namandala. Last week we discussed KAIP for Turkana and the challenges that are there. This is a matter, Governor, is it complete or it is still work in progress, the KAIP?
The chairman is not complete.
It is still work in
at 42%.
42%. Yeah. Members, can we allow the Auditor General to keep this in view and review it in the current audit cycle? There was something about Mitume Fresh Produce Market, but let's go to the multi-story business complex where the contract was signed in 2018 at a sum of 874 million. Governor, Is this complete? This multi-story business complex?
It's not complete, Mr. Chairman.
It's at what percentage?
92%.
So it has not changed since the audit, because at the audit it was at 92%.
It hasn't, because I've got a problem with the contractor. We've paid all the IPCs, but the guest not on site. He has started making very outrageous claims, almost the equivalent of the contract sum, and he has taken the matter to arbitration. We are going to prosecute this matter.
Honorable members, do we keep this in view?
Chair, maybe just a comment. So, Governor, this contractor has been paid this 874,280,383 had been paid. What was the, now that you have your chief officer, has the chief officer been there for some time? Is it new or he has been there?
The chief officer has been trade.
So that I ask the subsequent question. Your chief officer of finance.
The chief officer for trade has been there.
Has been there for some time.
Yes, yes.
So could he have the CC?
The CC,
so this Governor or your CC, as this amount of 874,280,383 been paid, and maybe if through the chair, what is the actual contract sum of this construction of multi-story business complex? And my final question, Chair, so that we exit, is that is there a variation? Because if the contractor is disturbed, I've looked at your responses, Governor, and you have indicated that the contractor has been very troublesome. So was there any variation? Why is the contractor in arbitration? Can you tell us the contract sum so that we know why the contractor has gone to arbitration, and if this 874 million has been paid? Those will be my three questions,
Mr. Chairman.
Governor?
If I can respond, the contract sum is indicated there is 874,280,303 shillings. This contract was awarded in 2017-2018 financial year. This project has been around for more than 8 years, 8 years now. And of course, when the contract asks for extension of time and is granted, it comes with some costs. But the biggest challenge we have today is that the contractor has abandoned site and has gone to arbitration. So that's why the matter is now.
Can you tell us how much has been paid on this contract? In this contract, sir?
874. How much has been paid? How much has been paid?
How much has been paid out of this contract sum through the chair?
All the contract sum has been paid.
Okay.
Less. I think just about 5 million has all been paid.
So there was a variation of 5 million more.
Because of what type of extension of time, of course, comes with some costs.
So, and the project is 92%?
Yes.
It doesn't look fair to the county, because it should be around 96, 98%.
Yeah, and
because it's an outstanding of 5 million.
I think I recall.
Chair, maybe finally, with your indulgence, is EACC investigating this matter? Okay, thank you, Chair.
Okay, so there could be a multifaceted approach, EACC and Auditor General also to keep it in view. The OAG recently made some comments that counties should ensure that they've got an exit clause in contracts. And that's why you have a project, you are stuck with a contractor from 2018 because the projects were not properly negotiated, the contract terms are not clear, and eventually you'll end up spending much, much more than the 874 million that has already been committed.
The president promised 100 million when he came to Trans-Nzoia. It whetted the appetite of the contractor, and that money has not been given. So that's why we're having all these problems.
I think presidential proclamation should not override procedural, propriety. So you still have a responsibility to deal with this, whether or not the president's promise will be delivered. So let's keep this in view. The next is Kenyatta Stadium, 657 million. Is it complete or not? So again, it's work in progress. I think OAG keep it in view. ESCC, is it part of your, is it on your radar?
Yes, Chair, it's also one of them, ones that listed.
Okay, so as far as the Senate is concerned, we will wait for the report of the OAG
Just a comment.
in the current financial year.
I see in the observation of the certificate of OAG, there was an issue of boundary. Was that resolved? Or somebody encroached?
Perhaps maybe to request Senator Cherargei, if you look at the time,
yes.
We have only about 5 minutes. So let's keep those questions.
Okay.
Let the OAG advise us in the next audit cycle.
Okay.
There is a teaching hospital, 1.6 billion.
Was it under
Is it complete, Governor? Since December 2018?
Yes.
To date?
Yes.
And again, litigation or?
Yeah, the contractor again abandoned site a long time ago. He went to arbitration. So the matter is still pending.
ESCC, is this before you? The teaching and referral hospital?
No, Chair.
Okay.
Chair, out of 1.6 billion, are you aware of any amount that has been paid for this? And number two, was it handed over? I've seen like here in Nyandarua, Chair, and Kakamega. Was it part of that was handed over or in partnership with national government? Thank you.
No, this project was conceived by the county government of Trans Nzoia in 2018. It has got different phases. I think that what is remains phase 3.
So how much has been paid out of 1.6 billion so far?
1.5?
1.6 because it says the contract sum. Sorry, it says the contract sum is 1.6
billion. The Auditor General has
billion.
reported on it, says 98% has been paid.
Yes.
So how much is that?
1.57 billion.
That's 1.5 billion.
Yeah. Is the work done 98%?
No. If there was any project that ESC should be investigating, it's this one.
It is the one that you are not investigating.
I am giving directions as a chair.
Then you can volunteer information to
ESCC, in addition to the OSR matter,
yes,
please, this particular matter must also be under
Of
your radar.
interest.
Because it cannot be acceptable that a contract of 1.6 billion, 98% is paid and it is not complete.
And how many percent of the project?
With 98%, you could be using a corner of the hospital.
Yes.
Surely, with 1.57 billion paid. So let's escalate this to ESCC. Let's ask the Auditor General to give us a comprehensive report on this matter. If you look at Trans Nzoia, it's littered with projects. Some are historical and stalled, and some are current. I'm glad that 2 of the current ones that we have reviewed indicates that they are complete. So there seems to be a problem with the historical projects.
Yeah.
Perhaps as we had resolved to visit Turkana, I think Turkana, Trans Nzoia, West Pokot are easily, they are within the same circuit. So perhaps when we are doing our county visit plan, we can do Turkana, do Trans Nzoia, see the success stories, but also take note of the stalled projects that require serious intervention. So I think that is our resolution, that as much as the OAG is keeping it in view, the ESCC is doing investigations. Senate will also organize itself to come and visit some of these projects. A few issues we have not dealt with. I think we'll take the written responses and make recommendations. And when we eventually come to Trans Nzoia, we will give final declarations on any other matter that we have not dealt with. Honourable members, if there is any matter in closing, otherwise we would allow the Governor to make his closing remarks.
Just one comment, Mr. Chairman. When we were on the receipt of revenue, we gave a disclaimer that I'm just popular, but it's not demonstrated. I think my popularity is demonstrated, and I cannot be judged by what happens just in one small section called the receipt of revenue. Of course, I was the first one to admit that we've got problems there, and I've quickly called upon this committee of the Senate, maybe to share experiences from the other counties, how they've managed to deal with the problem of revenue leakages by staff. Because in my mind, I believe every revenue payer in Trans Nzoia pays That one I can really guarantee. But where does the money end up? Not all of it ends up in where it's supposed to end us. Otherwise, I want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to again demonstrate that the devolution is working. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. The time will not allow us to say much. We wish you a safe journey. We'll organize ourselves to come and visit. And please make sure that these toll projects, you find a solution to it. And make sure that every cent that the woman in the market pays is accounted for. And if it cannot be accounted for, then kick out the crooks in your institution, those who are stealing under your nose. Because this conversation has established that there is that likelihood. But we'll leave that for investigation and recommendation by the EACC. The meeting is adjourned. This committee will meet on Thursday morning at 9:30.